A week ago they came, arms laden with them, all in tight buds, because my kids know I adore to paint lilies. Certain flowers lend themselves to being expressed in watercolour, and lilies are one of these plants. I like to leave the lilies at least a week to open and develop, and then, when they're absolutely peaky perfect, I'll paint them. I'll dive into a freezing cold sea, confront scary people with knives, but faced with the unknown, adventure into the Arctic white of a Whatman sheet, then I'm nervous. It's good to be respectful of its pristine contours and beautiful handmade decal edge, but not too precious. It's the painting that may become the treasure, or maybe not. I don't know. So I don't know where to begin. I must at first feel my way. The brush moves hesitantly like an insect's antennae, feeling its way over the surface. Finally, my eye, brain, hand and brush make a connection. The first wet blob of coloured paint lands on the paper and lily shapes flow out. To paint these stargazer lilies, I prefer to stand. My right arm is free then, relaxed, and my wrist flexible as a fiddle player's. Without thinking, I start to work. My intention is to project my vision to the fine tip at the end of this full watercolour brush in order to interpret what I see in a loose, linear, painterly form. With each move, I'm creating a design in which an image can develop. The pale cobalt violet pigment and free use of water encourages flexibility in this simple planning process. In the opening flowers, I'll exaggerate the deep magentas tucked within, which appear like the hidden fruit of a fig. With this traditional watercolour technique, my only white is the white of the paper. Pale, thin washes of paint give luminosity and describe the differences in the tones of the petals. Leaves are narrow and pointed and express a spiky feeling. I use their darkness to show off and bring forward the lightness of the flowers. I use a loaded brush, and the loaded brush marks draw them down or along to echo their pattern of growth, and maybe use a splash of cobalt blue to accentuate the sheen, and then it appears to reflect sky. I can choose to deepen or soften edges, use them to bring out transcendental, ethereal qualities that lily flowers reveal to me. I have a special pleasure in painting into damp paper the outside areas of these flowers, softly suggesting the dark spots that exist inside and are glimpsed by the subtle change in pink tone. I notice buds are much greener than the opening flower. I enjoy these differences. I observe too how the bud follows the direction of the stem, like a shooting star flying up, waiting to burst. I paint working my way from left to right in sections around the picture using wet in wet technique. My saturated brush describes the lily bud's long closed form, often six-sided, and I'll swoop the brush up to the bud's tip of talons that purse the mouth shut. In a similar way, when the flower is exposing her all, I'll pull up those ruby spots sharply with magenta and permanent rose. My final treat, the icing on the cake, is last of all. I'll paint the dark burnt sienna and cadmium orange stamens, hovering like filaments in a light bulb, saying, "Cooey, I'm over here." I apply them when the flower is dry and the painting almost complete. Adding them suddenly gives the beautiful stargazer lilies perspective and depth. The beauty and intensity of pure, transparent paint is the delight of this method for me. I was 30 when these paint pans, superbly wrapped packages of gum arabic and pigment, rattled hello from a tin and found me. The children's dad gave them to me when they were small, and the paint box fitted in my pocket and my studio in the corner of the bedroom. Despite all those intense demands of motherhood, and maybe because of them, my painting process was a productive lifeline and a chill-out zone. I was able to steal moments of escape and paint and pursue creative skills through, under, and over those stormy formative years. When I paint, all my senses engage, whether it's a landscape, an animal, flower, a person. But in truth, if it's, say, a moon, I'm thinking, the moon may not be as large as I interpret it, or the sheep so woolly, or the flowers so voluptuous. What I bring to my eyes is an emotional response, and that's the way I like to work. I'm sharing this with you because what any of us choose to paint really matters, and without necessarily knowing it, it reflects who we are. My eyes may be the mirror of the soul, but paintings are its reflection.